Thank you. Good morning, Dianambra, and welcome to our Breakfast TV show on ABS TV this morning. It's TGIF edition. Thank goodness it's Friday, and we welcome you to our early morning show. My name is Chidimma Oranwa.
And I'm Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
And of course, this morning we are starting by bringing your way the stories that are trending on the national dailies and also ABS website. And our guest is already seated with us in the studio this morning, but you get to meet him after this short break. Stay with us. Hi, welcome back. And our guest this morning is Mandy Ezenago. Glad to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Hope you had a restful night.
Yeah, thank God.
All right, really, let's start with the papers that we have this morning. The first paper under review is the Vanguard newspaper. And we have the banner headline there saying minimum wage, federal government, Labour settle for 70,000 naira. OPS list conditions. We have riders there. We are accepting it with mixed feelings because of economy coming from the Labour leader Ajero. Minimum wage law to be reviewed every 3 years. Okay? And then Tinubu to submit executive bill to NAS next week. We can't pay without federal government support, OPS. NLC holds next meeting today. Reps to expedite action on bill. This is coming from Speaker Abbas. And up there we can still see why fuel price may double as subsidy cost rises. Njume Akpabio has reduced Senate to federal government parastatal. This is coming from Lukman, SAP Chief 15. CBN resumed dollar sales to BDCs, halt Naira depreciation. Hardship NLC, CXOs unimpressed as reps cut salaries by 50% for 6 months. And then Olubados too, I'm not opposed to Ladoja's ambition, Makinde. After protest, federal government makes U-turn on 18 years benchmark for admission into varsity orders. Then we have there FIFA ranking, Super Eagles drop 1 step. And then we can see the campaign going on there. Edo will be okay. Olumide Akpata for governor. Okay. All right. These are the stories we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Mandy, let's start with the big story talking about the 70,000 naira. It seems that the battle is over between the Labour and the federal government. They've settled for 70,000 naira. But now the question is, how many people or how many states can pay the 70,000 naira? Would they agree to pay it? And then again, is 70,000 naira actually okay for a civil servant, owing to what we are seeing in our economy, what is happening in our economy today?
You know, when we were, before this issue of within an increment of the minimum wage, we are shouting that a bag of rice was 70,000 naira. Now that the minimum wage has come to 70,000 naira, unfortunately, a bag of rice is now 80,000 naira in the market. So the minimum wage is not enough. But according to the Labour chairman, he said that they accepted it to help cushion further hardship in the country. Now, we already have hardship. To control this hardship in this country is very easy. Very, very easy. As easy as ABC. Now, coming to the minimum wage of 18, I believe that, or should I say, I want to suggest, or it would have been better if there is an agreement between the Labour and the federal government in that their, should I say, the contract or agreement or whatsoever, there should be clauses of penalties for any state governors that will not implement this, because according to His Excellency Ahmed Tinubu, that by next week he will pass it to the Senate for approval. So these are the things that they need to be corrected. There should be clauses in that agreement that any state governor that does not implement the 70,000 naira minimum wage from so time to from this period of time to this period, that there should be a penalty for such governor or for such state. State. At least this will help other governors to pay, because it's quite unfortunate that many governors are not even paying the 30,000 naira minimum wage, let alone this coming 70,000 naira. So the only way that they will be able to comply is having the penalty. In fact, I was listening to, I think early this week, Governor Makinde saying that that the federal government will not tell him what to do in his own state. That's concerning the local government judgment by the Supreme Court. Yes. So you see, these are the things that we see. The governors believe, in fact, the governors are the problem that we have in this country. 70% of the problem we have in this country are the governors, not even from the federal government. Are the governors. But at the end of the day, we blame the problem on our president and the executive arm of government, that's the federal level. Not knowing that one of the people that give us headache and make us to go through what we are going through now are the state governors.
Just like you said that there should be clauses in the agreement that was signed between the Labour and the federal government. So, do you think that the federal government are really doing their job or carrying out their responsibility? How can you say that the governors are the problem of this country when the federal government is supposed to be giving out, like telling them these are the things you should do and make sure that they do it later?
You know, both are executives, but at different levels. That's the state and the federal. Now, most of these, should I say, coming to IGR and land, these refineries and all these things, are being supervised by the state governors. Now, they believe that their own immunity, that this is my state. Even the federal government have to take permission from me as a governor before interfering to any. That is what many of them believe. Not knowing that the federal government is ahead of them. And moreover, you know, most of these people now are the same party with the federal government. So they may not like, they are saying that if you come to APC, your sins will be forgiven. So all these kind of things that they are the only ones that knows. So our problems are mostly the governors. The federal government have, although they have ways to push on this problem, they have ways to tell the governors
exactly what I want to hear.
To do. But we cannot tell the reason why this is happening, even under the nose of the federal government.
Well, thank you for your submission. Quickly, because of want of time, let us take two papers so that we can see how far we can wrap up the papers this morning. Next for review this morning is the Daily Independent, and still talking about the minimum wage. Mixed reactions trail federal government labors 70,000 naira minimum wage. And the writer there says, workers say they can't survive on 70,000 as minimum wage. Accused labor leaders of compromise say this is a sellout. Analysts say increasing salary will provoke other market forces. Asks federal government to consider development of public infrastructure and others. Tinubu pledges reviewing minimum wage every 3 years and assures protesting SANU, NASU of payment of withheld salaries. And you have there at the mast of the Daily Independent, 31 million housing units in Nigeria substandard, says Housing Minister. JAMB asks universities to admit candidates with 140 minimum score. CBN orders OK's forex sales to BDCs for invisible transactions. And we also have police officer killed in shootout that greeted arrival of Shaibu Okpebolo at Benin Airport. Drama as police, NASU, SANU officials clash at Abuja protest. Senate moves to establish LG Electoral Commission. Ndume's sack Our democracy at risk, lament Atiku Lukman. We know promoters of planned nationwide protests, says federal government. Silver appeals needless distractions, says Governor Diri. And also, quickly, the Nation newspaper, 70,000 as minimum wage, federal government labor okays wage. How to fire up patriotic zeal in Nigeria by Uzodinma. We also have the work to begin on Abeokuta Ota Road, says Ogun government. Reps donate 1.08 billion to buy food for Nigerians. Edo Okpebolo hospitalized after attack in Benin. CBN resumes forex sales to BDCs. And then we have bill on Council Electoral Commission tabled. This and more we have on the front pages of these newspapers. Well, it's still interesting to know. Based on what I'm seeing on the Daily Independent, there are some interesting riders there. We talked about the review, the 3-year review, and then analysts say increasing salary will provoke other market forces. And then Tinubu this time around assuring protesting SANU and NASU of payment of withheld salaries. Coming to think about this, since we are still talking about if 70,000 naira is actually okay for the average Nigerian as a take-home, you understand? And we've not even factored in the the private sector rather, how they can cope. Because I don't know how many businesses in Nigeria that can actually pay 70,000 naira as minimum wage. When we are talking about this minimum wage, we should consider that sales girl, sales boy that you need in your shop, the least you can pay the person is 70,000 naira. You understand? And now, how many businesses can actually pay that? But the federal government here seems to be talking more of the public sector. So what happens to the private sector?
You know, coming to this minimum wage of 18, I think there are two types of it. The national minimum wage and the government minimum wage. And this is the area that people are going into. When you come to some private sectors, some of them even earn more than the government workers. That's, let's say, these big establishments, private establishments.
How many compared to the ones that are struggling?
That's what I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Now, if the government wants all these things to be equal, there should be a government minimum wage and a national minimum wage. Now, the national minimum wage will help, like, let's say, a sales girl in a business area or a person working under a growing establishment. This is the area where the national minimum wage will fall in. Now, what the government is looking into, based on the NLC level, is just based on the public and government establishments. I get me.
But is a tripartite meeting all this while?
Yes,
the NLC, the TUC, they've all been fighting. Even Dangote is a part of the people.
That's what I'm saying, that these people are already, you know, one thing is that these big establishments, let me say private establishments, as I earlier said, some even pay higher than what government pay.
But they are just few.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That it can only be implemented if there will be a national minimum wage. This one that they're talking about is just based on government minimum wage, not the national.
That's what I'm asking. So what happens to those little businesses that can afford the 70,000 naira?
It still boils down to what the analyst is saying, that increasing minimum wage
exactly, definitely, because
shoots or skyrockets the prices of food items in the market. So I think the best thing that the federal government should have focused on, I'm not saying that the minimum wage is not okay, it's okay, but the first thing they should have focused on is how to stabilize the economy. So that everyone will benefit from it.
That is the thing. In fact, our problem, one of the problems that triggered this minimum wage is just the economy.
Yeah.
And as I earlier said, to stabilize it is just very easy. In fact, to stabilize it are three major things. The petrol price, the dollar rate, and
food security.
agricultural
Yeah.
investment. That is the thing. These are the
Talking
three
about
major.
petrol price, like in front page of Vanguard, they said why fuel price may double as subsidy cost rises.
See,
I thought
it
subsidy.
will. As I said it here that we are still paying the subsidy. That's why the fact that subsidy has been removed. Now, as I think as at 2 days ago, the marketers were saying that the landing price of petrol is about 1,000, almost 1,200 naira. The landing price, not even the market price. And the landing price of petrol is about one. We are not talking about diesel. Diesel is a no-go area. So these are the three major. If the federal government will liaise with state government to work on these three, then find out that our economy will be very, very okay. That is the thing.
Okay, thank you so much for that submission. Let's quickly see what we have at the front page of the Daily Trust. Okay, still screaming the 70,000 naira minimum wage that have been accepted by Labour as the banner headline in the front page of the Daily Trust, and we still have other things there. JAMB pegs a cut-off mark at 140 for varsities. Marketers to publish daily landing cost of petrol. Stop blaming federal government for your failures. APC replies PDP governors. And then, okay, still under the minimum wage, government must cut taxes for us to pay. This is coming from the private sector. And then, reps surrender 50% salary over hardship. Wow. Cut your allowances, Atiku. Citizens tell lawmakers. Senate moves to establish local government election commission. Kano politician Dambliki handcuffed, flogged for criticizing Kaduna governor. Israeli parliament votes against Palestinian state. Kenya win for Gen Zs as court suspends police ban on protests. Okay, well, these are the things we have on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. How do you see this story that reps are to surrender their 50% of their salary because of hardship in the country?
Well, it's for 6 months as captured.
Yeah, it's 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
It's just, I think their salary, not other allowances,
Benefits.
inclusive rather. I think it's about, their salary is about 600,000 or so. That's their basic salary, excluding other allowances. Well, if you know, this is Nigeria, because the agreement is that there will be a particular account where the money will be paid into. So what I'm saying is not a matter of submitting the salary, is about making use of it.
Good use of the
Maybe at the end of the day to still come back to them, maybe double. And we don't know how, maybe
The
double, or we don't know. At the end of the day, just like as I was saying concerning the grants that the federal government said that they are giving, which is not even enough. 20,000 trucks per state, according to the information minister. Then I was asking, a state like Anambra State that has like 21 local governments, if you say, okay, let's say 1 truck per local government, which has about 1,200 bags of rice, that is not even enough for a community, let alone a local government. So if they will make a good use of it maybe after 6 months, because they said there will be a particular account where the money will be paid into, it's fine. It shows that at least that they have the citizens in heart. But that not being enough, are we going to continue this way? It's not right. The proper thing to do is stabilize the economy. People won't even, once, you know, one thing with Nigerians is that once they are comfortable with, let's say, government providing the basic things that they need, and then they are able to afford things, especially at the market level, they are okay. They don't even care if there is much embezzlement. All they care is that once they are living comfortable, that they are okay. So these are the things that when we see, are we continue to live this way? It's good. But we are not supposed to continue living this way. Let them help by at least stabilizing the economy, that even the poor of the poor will be able to afford the 3 square meal. Let me not go to 2 square meal. The 3 square meal of food to eat.
Quickly, let's see what we have on the Blueprint and the Tribune newspaper. Okay, the Blueprint. Reprieve as federal government, Labour settled for 70,000 minimum wage. And we have as riders, while we accepted the offer, NLC TUC explained OPS kicks. Tinubu orders payment of SANU and NASU withheld salaries. Niger will crash food prices by 90% before December. That's coming from Bago. Hardship, reps cut down salaries by 50% for 6 months. CDS, IGP to reps, our personnel don't protect illegal miners, minefields. Say we only guard legitimate miners. Persistent inflation may extend monetary lightening, warns Cardoso. CBN sells $20,000 for Forex to BDCs at 1,450 naira per dollar. 1 million vehicles traversing Nigeria roads. 11 million vehicles traversing Nigeria roads. That's coming from the NADDC. Senate most local government independent electoral commission. FIFA ranking, Eagles drop as Spain climbs to 3rd position. We've seen JAM releases cutoff marks for 2024-2025 admission. Access Bank joins NGX at Impact Board. Imandi, let's look at this story about reducing the cutoff mark to 140 score in order for you to gain admission into the university. Is that a positive, statements coming from JAM? Isn't that lowering our standards?
Apart from lowering our standard, that's to show you where we've gotten to. Nigeria, we healthy in the aspect of education, in our educational sector. No government is looking into that sector.
With 140, does that include those that want to study maybe accounting, medicine, and the rest?
To start with, we have to even go into the one that they say that the age bracket of 18 years, and the protest now they want to bring it down. Because I remember that when I gained admission, my first admission into UNICA, the score then was, I think, from 180. Then that was around 2010. Now, and in that 180 is the minimum. Now, the age too was about 18 years and above. Now, students now, they don't read. There are facilities
to make education
easier, of which is affordable. I could remember that if as at then we don't even have direct access to internet through phone, we have to go to cyber cafe, buy time. I think buy maybe 30 minutes. If you exhaust the 30 minutes, you buy another one just to do some assignments.
Yeah.
That's in secondary school. We are not talking about when we got to the university. Now they now have the access. And JAM bringing this score to 140 is a no. As in, are we growing, or are we growing up? Are we coming down?
Because there was mass failure last time, JAM is now reducing the cutoff to 140.
To 140. It's
There
not.
is nothing they are not telling us. Maybe the fault is from them. Is it that their system malfunctioned? Are there things we are supposed to know that made them to come to this conclusion that it's better to peg the cutoff mark?
I believe that it is political, because had it been that it was a system malfunctioning, it would have been stated earlier before now. At least there will be a mass protest, or people will come up and say that my system didn't function well, this and that. I believe that it is political, because you cannot tell me that after how many months of the exam, you are cutting it down to 140. Even if it is for even if it is the people that give their lowest, I think 150. That's for College of Education as at then.
Yeah.
So if a university will cut 140, then college education will be how much? Will be how many? 80 or what? Then how do you encourage the people that will write maybe yes that will write next year? How will you encourage them to read? Because they might agree that okay, yes, that our own. Then I think that even out of when we had 180 then as cut off, that's for arts, so not even for science courses.
Because I remember a friend of mine then when we wrote JAMB scored 260 and the cutoff to read pharmacy was 263. He couldn't even read pharmacy.
That's what I'm saying.
He had to go to read either microbiology or
the 180 then was for arts student, not even for sciences. And I know that I think I was able to get 210 then, and I did pub administration. So in this era, I don't know where we are going. I don't know how we want to grow in this our aspect of education. It's not even the JAMB is not even encouraging us anymore. They are not encouraging. We are even shouting that the ministry is not even encouraging. The Ministry of Education are not even encouraging in the aspect of education. If you go to our schools, we have dilapidated buildings, no working materials, no teachers, no instructional materials for the teachers. And now JAMB, a whole JAMB is also doing this. So at the end of the day, what will WAEC do? WAEC that will tell us, okay, you have to have at least 6 credits before you know it. Maybe WAEC will say, okay, maybe 4 credits in or 2.
It's not just
let me just say NECO or NAPTEB or all these GC. So you see, the JAMB is not even helping us at that 1/4. I believe that it is political, and we are yet to find out the aspect of this political our political leaders that wants to influence this. At least the Senate should rise against this 140 cutoff mark.
Finally, the Nigerian Tribune is up for review this morning. The big story is still about the minimum wage, and then down there you can see bill for local government independent electoral commission lands in Senate. What the new bill says: Northern senators shut down South Development Commission bill. And then JAMB approves, okay, we've talked about that. Gunshot violence, welcome Shaibu to Benin after reinstatement by court. 1 policeman killed, APC PDP chieftain trade blames. And then the food sufficiency, Southern Governors Forum to promote regional trade. Abiodun Ndume, NAS becoming enabler of executive recklessness. This is coming from Atiku. Close down substandard educational institutions. Afe Babalola advises federal government. CBN resumed dollar sale to BDCs at 1,450 naira per dollar. Nigeria's economy on path of growth, or mockery. Then over 100 psychiatric doctors left Nigeria in 1 year. This is coming from their association. All right, quickly, let's look at this bill for local government independent electoral commission that has landed at the table in the Senate.
Should I say that it's coming with mixed feelings or what? We don't know, but I want to thank the Supreme Court for their judgment concerning this local government independence. At least now we can hold our local councillors and their chairmen responsible for anything that they do with our with their allocations. It's no longer the matter of the states hijacking it and them giving them peanuts to work with. And I also want the Senate to please that they should do the needful. You know, at SADA, they said that they will remove the state independent electoral, let it be, so that, and moreover, removing it will also help to some certain level, in the sense that it will help that the state will not be able to influence the election. At least different parties will participate and different parties will win. And also in part of the bill, it's also included that according to the Supreme Court, that the state governor will not have any right to remove any elected chairman and councillor that will not or does not agree with him, that's the governor. So these are the clauses, these are the few clauses that we have in the bill. So it's since it has landed, for now we've not known the complete package that is in the bill, but we believe that it will help development, and it will help to bring development to the grassroots, because for now there is no development in the grassroots in so many states. And also about 4 states have declared that they will conduct the local government election, that's by this year. Some said October, some said by November. So let's look at them, but I know that let's see what will be the reaction of the Senate concerning this bill. Yeah.
Okay, we need to go because we have other things for you this morning. Well, on that note, we want to say a very big thank you to you, Emmanuel, for joining us on Press Review this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, my name is Chidima Oranwa. We see you at the other side. Stay with us.
Anam Ajuluchuku Okabwe. Thanks for keeping in touch.